everyone. It's another great week, and I trust that you are well. We've been talking about the 6 Zambian food groups, and you're probably wondering, when are we going to talk about the real stuff, like things that people are actually going through, right? But remember, I said everything else to come is based on the 6 Zambian food groups because I want these nutrition videos to be food-based. I am not going to tell you some quick fix diet or some, I don't know, concoction that you need to drink and then in 2 weeks you've lost weight. I'm not going to sell you any of those products. We are basically talking about practical things, lifestyle change that you need to do from the comfort of your home. Everybody's in my inbox asking, okay, what do I do to lose weight? I just had a baby. How do I lose weight? Or how do I gain? A few people actually want to gain, especially the men who say, okay, I don't have muscle. How do I build that muscle? There are ways of doing that, but I wouldn't want you to be obsessed with weight. I personally am not obsessed with my weight. Sometimes I gain, sometimes I lose, and life goes on. What I'm more careful about is my lifestyle. And that's what's most important, whether I'm eating well, and if I don't eat well, how do I correct that? Because not every day is the same. So there'll be these variations. The environment also plays a role. Your emotions play a role, what you're going through at that particular time. So guys, yes, weight is important. It's important to manage your weight, but it's a range. You need to be within a certain range. You are not going to be the same weight 80 kgs 10 years down the line. Wow, if your body 80. No, it will change. It will vary depending on the environment. And for us ladies, it actually varies even a lot more because our hormones really play a role. I'll just list a few things off the top of my head that actually influence our weight. Number one, obviously what we eat. Diet. You eat too much food, the equation is simple. When too much is coming in and less is going out, you gain. And I've talked about it in the previous videos. Where your body just doesn't know what to do with excess sugar, excess fat. You're like, okay, now you've eaten and then you've fallen asleep. What am I supposed to do with this excess? Pack it. Turn it into fat, and your thighs or wherever it is that your body stores fat, that's where it goes. And over time, you're gaining and gaining and gaining. Or losing weight, where your body says, oh, okay, nothing is coming in, especially those who like to do these crash diets. It's actually very dangerous for your body. I now explain why. You put your body in a position of, okay, there is no food coming in. So I need to actually ration what is available in the stores. So now your body is releasing very little. The heart is saying, no, I need this energy to pump. Your body is like, and the blood is like, no, but I need these nutrients in order to make these enzymes and so the brain communicates with the body like that in such times of crisis. And what happens is the body now interprets that as FMI. Of course, those who now go to extremes where they continue starving the body and quite all right, they are losing weight because like I told you, the equation is simple. When less is coming in, you're losing weight. Basically, you're using your stores. And so when the stores get depleted, it causes complications. Those are the people who now suffer from anorexia, bulimia. You lose a lot of weight. Your menstrual cycle gets messed up. You start developing hairs on your body because, mind you, fat is also important to keep the body warm. And when the body doesn't have enough fat stores to keep it warm, your menstrual cycles get messed up. The body now starts producing hairs to say, let's just see what we can do to keep this body warm. Otherwise, it will die. And unfortunately, others have died that way because the body can only work up to so much. The brain only uses glucose. And when you keep starving your body in the name of keto diet, others take keto to the extreme, it results in that it becomes a psychological problem more than just a weight loss problem. Now you just feel you are fat even when literally you are not. So that extreme is not good. The other is also not okay, where you get excessively overweight or what we call obesity. And obesity has 3 classes. We'll talk about it very soon. The complications that come with that are also immense. For example, mobility. Your movements just become difficult. You just walk a short distance and you are breathing. Like, what are we doing? Or just sweating anyhow. You don't even have the energy to play with your kids. Mommy, can we play while I die? Hey, no, mommy's knees are bad. Just play and watch you from afar. No. Get involved. Have fun. It also affects your alertness, your productivity as well. If you are overweight, you're thinking becomes hampered. Your heart rate is difficult to manage. With obesity comes a number of other complications like heart disease, arthritis, diabetes. You find that the money that you are really working hard to save or buy some assets for your kids, you're now actually using it in healthcare. So what we want is to be in a good range. And what do we mean by good range, you may wonder? There is this assessment tool that we dietitians and nutritionists utilize called a BMI. BMI are basically indices. It stands for body mass index. So these are indices that show us your nutritional status, whether you are in a good range or a poor range. And when you are too thin, what we call too thin, is below 18.5. So how do you calculate BMI? First, let's start from there. BMI is basically your weight, your body weight, ngamakwela pa scale, that reading in kgs, divide by your height. You take your height in meters. So for example, I am 1.65 or 165 centimeters. So 1.65, that is my height in meters. So now I multiply that 1.65 by itself. So 1.65 by 1.65. The answer I get, I divide it into my weight. So my weight, I fluctuate between 70, 78. Let's just pick a middle number. Let's say 75. 75 divided by 1.65 times 1.65. That answer, you divide it into 75. That's what you call BMI, body mass index. If your answer you get is below 18.5, you are underweight. Basically, you need to gain a little bit more weight. Between 18.5 and 24.9, it's considered normal. So you're in the normal range. So anything between there is normal. And anything from 25 to 30 is considered overweight. And then from 30 now, then obesity clicks in. 30 to 35 is obesity class 1. 35 to 40, obesity class 2. Above 40, obesity class 3. Now that's where we say you are morbidly obese. Everybody to mona no papa TV, everybody kala paper bed ben. Overrated a fiance. Tea, sugar, and they will eat all kinds of food. And it is not a good idea to be in that range. But mind you, there are a number of reasons that would result in us being in different weight categories. Like I said, weight is not supposed to be constant. It cannot be constant. There are a number of issues. Childbearing, for example, has an effect on your weight. Your age, your physical activity level, your emotional status. When I'm stressed, I gain quite a lot of weight. That's because there's a certain hormone called cortisol. It's called a stress hormone that is released. In others, it can cause weight loss. In others, it actually causes weight gain. Like in my case, where you just want to eat. You use food as a comfort. Eat. You don't even think about it. You probably know. Like in my case, I know that, but what is more important is how you are feeling in that moment, and it can actually result in weight gain. And that's why you need to control your environment as well if you're going to control your weight. And you need support for that, really. So if you have a friend, let's not label people to say, abadina, because mental health, guys, is real. And our mental state does affect our health. Whether we lose or we gain weight, we are affected by the environment. Medication as well. You probably know them because it's probably indicated in your medication to say these are the side effects. Genetics as well. If you come from a family where, what we call being big boned, you will not be in the so-called normal. And that's again why I do not like to use BMI alone. BMI can show that you are overweight or even obese, class 1. But you find that it's really because of other factors that you are in there. For example, our bodybuilders, muscle weighs more than fat. So you see that those who have big muscles will actually be in the overweight range or obese range. You cannot classify them as obese when they are, I don't know if it's 7-8% fat, they have more muscle, and then you say this person is obese. No, absolutely not. They're probably even very fit. And then also the height, because it takes into account your height. You could be very short. There are those who are actually shorter than 155 centimeters. And so if you're very short, it's again not a good tool to use. It could be again your genetic makeup. You cannot grow taller to make your BMI going normal. So height is also important. Not only being too short or even being too tall. heights above, let's say 1.8, 1.9, BMI then becomes a difficult tool to use alone. And so I like to couple BMI with waist circumference. So you basically take your measuring tape that is used by the tailor from your belly button, use your belly button as the center, wrap it around your waist, measuring the smallest part of your waist to know the circumference of it. Because mind you, what is dangerous is where you store your fat. If you're storing fat around the organs, like your belly has a lot of organs there. So you do not want excessive fat around those organs. Actually, when your belly grows big, of course, if you're not pregnant, when your belly grows big, it's because of fat that is accumulating around your organs. And now fat around organs slows the performance of these organs. So if it's fat around your heart is failing to pump properly. If it's fat around an organ which we call the pancreas, which releases the insulin, which mops out sugar in your body, that insulin release is actually resisted by the fat. So you get what you call insulin resistance, where there's sugar in the body, but insulin is not being released to convert it back into fats or store it wherever. So that in itself now causes what we call type 2 diabetes. As a nutritionist, I'm more concerned about where the fat is being stored than your BMI. Because BMI, again, it's an ethnicity issue. Like our Japanese counterparts, I hear in Japan they've actually created their own BMI indices because they are normally short in stature and they do not really fit the Caucasian BMI scale. And so I feel the same for us Africans. Many of us are endowed. We have big bodies. I've done a lot of surveys where I collect such data. I take BMI, and majority of us are in the overweight range. And when you look at the person, you do not really see, because sometimes you have to use your intuition. You do not really see that there is a problem in this person, but the person is said to be overweight. And when you take the waist circumference, you actually realize that the person is healthy. There is no excessive fat around the abdomen, and so you don't really say this person needs to lose weight. Probably just manage the weight, but not to lose. But if you use BMI alone, then your conclusion will be lose weight. And sometimes it's not even possible, but your waist circumference will tell a lot more. That's why I always like to ask clients, what has been your normal body weight? And they would usually say, okay, I've really been overweight all my life. Even when they show you pictures from when they were babies, they've always been chubby. You're now not going to expect that client to look like what? Taylor Swift, guys. No, it's not possible. So it's okay to be in the overweight range, but as long as you keep your weight stable, that's what's most important. How rapidly does your body weight change is what's most concerning. I'll give an example of myself. From my university years, that would be 2009, somewhere around there, to now, I've never exceeded 80, only the time I was pregnant. So it's been around that, 72, 75. You want your weight to be swinging within a certain range, and that becomes the goal. Say, okay, let's go back to when your body was most stable, because your body still has that memory of when you were still stable. But the body doesn't have memory of when you were lower than that. So it becomes very difficult now to say someone who's been normal at this range to now go to the extremes. You have BMI 20 when all your life, or at least 10, 20 years of your life, you've been at BMI, say, 29. When you allow your weight to go up and down with these fad diets, what we call fad diets, where you lose weight, you feel good, ooh, I fit in my wedding dress. And then 2 years down the line, now your wedding dress is fitting in you. And then you want to go back to fitting in your wedding dress. And then again, you gain the weight. That is what we call yo-yo dieting. And yo-yo dieting results in the body just being tired of you and saying, you know what? I'm tired of you taking me up and down like this. I'm going to stay here, whether you like it or not. Those are the people now in their 40s, 50s who have done whatever they can to diet, whatever, and they've failed to lose weight because you've been yo-yoing. You've been going up and down in your younger years, and now your body is saying not anymore. Because it looks at it as it's a danger. It's a danger. It has a memory of when it had too little and how the organs were almost shutting down. And so it's saying not anymore. So that is why I'm emphasizing to say, change your lifestyle. The weight loss actually becomes more or less like a bonus for having a good lifestyle, not the goal. Lifestyle change is what is more permanent. But if you don't change your lifestyle, you lose the weight quite all right. Like there are those who say, okay, for the next 3 months, I will not be eating shima. I'll only be eating kaya boiled cabbage, yo, with no salt. And I don't know, whatever concoction your weight loss person told you, you mix whatever and then you make it fear factor. You are now eating and you are losing weight quite okay. And then after you've done that, it's not what you'll be eating the rest of your life. Unless that's, if you tell me that, then well and good. But if that's not going to be your lifestyle, after 3 months of weight loss, you now go back to eating shima, na supu ya mbuzi, all the weight will come back. And it will surely come back. And when it does, it will not want to go away. It's like, I'm here, I'm staying. You deal with it. So that's how now you have a situation where you cannot lose anymore. So let's just change our lifestyle. Exercise more often. And you only need 30 minutes per day. 30 minutes per day of intense exercise. Skipping is one of them. I recently started that because my life is becoming very busy. I'm not a morning person. I don't wake up in the morning and say I'm going jogging. Hey, no. My mornings are for my morning devotion. I have my time with the Lord and start my day. But in the evenings, I like to skip. If it's not skipping, walking. I walk from work to home. And that's what has helped me remain in a certain range. I'm overweight, yes, according to the BMI scale, but I am of good weight because I have managed to keep that weight for like what? Over 10, 15 years now, I've been in the same weight range, all right? So don't let your body type be an issue of concern. You cannot change that. There are people who come, you can tell that this person is apple-shaped, where they store fat on the upper body. Others actually of the, maybe more or less like a straight shape or a rectangular shape, where you are even from top to bottom. You have broad shoulders, slender and tall. That is also okay. You cannot change that. There are people who've come to me and say, oh, I want to look more like Chite. And you look at the person, you're like, no, but you have this body type. You cannot now start looking like this. You know, like I said, I have bigger boobs and bigger thighs. I cannot now look like Michi Zambia's sweetheart. Hey, I can't. My body won't allow me to. You see, because she's slender. That's her body makeup. So you cannot now change your body type when you're doing these diets and so forth. The body type remains the same. Where you store fat remains the same. What you want to control is how much fat is in there. Okay, I've probably gained a little bit more weight and I need to control my eating or control my stress. Or I ask myself, okay, have I been on medication? What has been happening around that has changed? That's how you manage weight. Don't say, oh, now where's the quick fix? Where is that diet that my friend told me she vomited and diarrhea and she lost weight in 1 week? No. Check your environment. I've been maybe a bit stressed of late. Let me do fun activities. Even go on leave, for example, or spend more time with the family. Do something that keeps you happy. Exercise is also one way in which you can manage stress, because what you release after exercise is good hormones that make you happy. Those who exercise, I'm sure you can attest to that. You feel different. You feel a weight lifted off your shoulders. And when I say exercise, it's not just paying gym fees. No. Walking, jogging if you can. It's not just going to the gym and lifting weights. No. Use the stairs instead of the elevator. I know it will be difficult, but as you go along, your body gets used and you feel better. So please, let's not stress about weight. Weight is a byproduct of healthy lifestyle.